Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, particularly for those of you who have liked and subscribed my previous videos. We're almost at that 100 video mark, and I'd like to thank all the loyal followers. We really appreciate you checking back with us and watching our videos and supporting our videos. And if you'd like to support further, we have a little Venmo link on there as well, because we're just struggling to survive like everyone else, but that's not what this video is about. Today, I want to talk about something that I'd hope I wouldn't have to make a video about. I didn't really want to discuss this, but the people out there who perpetuate lies about trans people, particularly the so-called TERFs, trans exclusionary feminists, as they like to call yourselves. You're not feminists. You're not feminists at all. Because what I'm about to tell you will invalidate your claims and will validate you as a person. If that's your identity, what would that be? You see, all these bathroom bills, all these laws are all based on this lie, fundamental lie, that transgender women, now mind you, trans masks are never mentioned. You never hear a single bill being written about trans masks, but yet they've been subject to the fallout and subject to harassment and other indignities, not on the scale that we have, or for that matter, cisgender women who've not met someone else's ideal of what a woman is, not met some stereotype, some aesthetic, because that's what these stupid bathroom bills do. See, the lie is that trans women are actually men who are predators. There's this kid I like to follow on Instagram. Love this guy. I mean, and yeah, he's on TikTok too. His name's Luke. Luke, if you're watching, hey, props to you. He's called this out many times. It would make zero sense to endure a lifetime of bullying and harassment and go through years of hormone therapy and surgeries just to access a bathroom to assault a woman. That is insane. That's not something we do. That's not something we're interested in. Now, I've seen right-wingers pull up an article or two, usually about some guy who is angry. Maybe they're a closet cross-dresser with some screws loose, I don't know. But they're not trans. Most trans women that are public, visible, are not into women at all. Now, the minority of trans who do like women, like, trans femmes like myself, a lot of us have relationships. And regardless of whether you have one or not, bathrooms are not pickup places. Now, when it comes to the assaulting bit, that's not something we do. I remember a long time ago, there was an X-Files episode, and David Duchovny tried to describe granted universe of transgender, and even included cross-dressers as being mostly docile, and that's true. Here's a little secret. When you start that transition and you are on hormone therapy, most of us lose the ability to even function as a male. For every ounce of this and every ounce of something else down here, I lose something like that. But that's my business, and I won't go into the nitty-gritty of it. So you can throw that fantasy out the fucking door. The truth is, trans women, we are more often the victims of sexual assault. We're almost never the perpetrators. I myself am a survivor of 2 sexual assaults, and I'm not over it. My first was in 1989. It was very public. In fact, the way it went down, and I'm not going to get into the graphic detail of it. There were so many witnesses, they didn't believe it was real, but yet there it was. It traumatized me for years. It took me a long, long time to, being able to even begin to talk about it. And when I first did, I made the mistake of talking to my father because he didn't believe such things happened. And what did my father do? Like the typical patriarchal male, he blamed me, the victim. If I hadn't worn makeup, if I hadn't done this, I hadn't grown my hair long, I hadn't tried to be so girly. I didn't try, this is who I am, I've always been. Now this is what happens, they said. Sure, yeah, right. Saw some guys that in jail that didn't look anything like me. Not feminine at all. And yet there it was. So throw that argument out the door too. National statistics say that cisgender women, about 29% of cisgender women will experience one form of sexual assault or another in their lifetime. 29%. That's not a nice thing. That's ugly. And all at the hands of straight men. You want to know what the numbers are for trans women? 49%. Double. More than double. Not only that, but in our overall lifetime, that number climbs to 57%. And of trans women of color, even higher. In fact, they don't even have an accurate number because the numbers are so high. It is one of the most insulting things that such so-called TERFs, the J.K. Rowlings of the world, and Nancy Maces of the world, Marjorie Taylor Greenes and the Boberts and whatever, Christine Nome, whatever her fucking name is, whatever, Pam Bondi, that cross-wearing faker, the bullshit Barbie, I don't even know her name, Levitt, whatever. You repeat these lies created by men who seek to control women. And for as all the taunting, they've told you what to say. They came up with these lies. Donald Trump was obsessed with a stolen election. The longest time, that's all he talked about. Until some asshole from South Africa showed up with $250 million and was bitter at the fact that one of his own children was transgender. All of a sudden, now we're public enemy number 1. And the lies restarted. Exhausting. I'm tired of fucking explaining it. I didn't want to have to talk about this. But the fact is, people in my situation, this is hard. It hurts. Just all the things that these men who have called us girls our entire fucking lives to demean us, all of a sudden now want to call us men. Sorry, boys, but that ship has sailed, and you had validated us long ago. Well, you create these lies, and you find the little puppets. You find these weakest of women, most ignorant, uneducated, and maybe broken women who bought into your lies, your ideology, and they repeat these things. My advice to a cisgender woman who doesn't know the facts is talk to one of us. We'll tell you. It's not us. We don't do these things. When I go to a women's room, and I've been doing so for 30 years, I did in the 1990s. I did in the early 2000s. Yeah. I had to walk away from life for a while because things became so impossible. And it damn near killed me with all the medical and mental complications that followed. But now that I'm back, never have a problem. Why? Because I can enter a bathroom. I go there to check my makeup, because chances are it's hot. I have to make sure the whole thing isn't melting off. Secondly, or more importantly, I may have to actually use the restroom. And if I have to use the restroom for that purpose, I'm going to go into a stall and I'm going to conduct my business like anybody else. And when I'm done, I'm going to clean up after myself, remove all traces that I was there, go to the wash my hands, check my makeup again, maybe adjust my outfit, make sure everything's straight and tidy, and get out. Leave quietly. It's not a place for conversation. It's not a pickup place. It's not a bar. It's not a disco. And so for some woman that's going to be screaming rape, let me tell you something. If you're screaming rape because you see one of us, you've clearly never been raped. You don't know what that's like. I've had a lot of women validate my existence in positive ways. But the most difficult validation I was ever given was a little over a year ago, because that's when it happened the last time. It was a terrifying experience of my life. You see, I've had 20 years of martial arts training. I'm even decent with weapons, pistols, swords, knives, and a few other things I won't mention. I sure as hell don't want the FBI showing up my door, but that's besides the point. You know, I've had a lot of people that worry about me teach me a lot of skills. And so, and there was formal training and discipline. And it was a little over a year ago. I was out at a club, at a place I thought was safe, around friends that I thought was safe. And some man that we mistook for security. He was dressed up like security. He stayed in one place the whole night. And every time I came across him, he tried to engage me. Now, I'm not intimate. I have a wife. Believe it or not, I have a wife and I'm raising 2 children. I'm kind of a housewife. But I like to get out. I like to have a drink. I like to dance. I like to be with friends. I'm a social butterfly. I won't deny that. Went out that night. And every time I ran across this person, he tried to talk to me. I wasn't interested, so I just smiled and walked away. Kindly, politely. What else can you do? You know, you don't want to be a bitch about the whole thing. You walk away. That's what you do. You smile and you walk away. Politely, just like little nod, be polite. Don't cause a scene. So that's what you do. And as I felt in the witch that I am, I pick up on vibes. I pick up on a lot of things. And something told me that there was something very wrong about that guy and it was making me very uncomfortable. I told my friends and I said, "Are you sure? I think he's security." Everybody thought he was security. I said, "You know what? I think I want to leave before maybe I have too many drinks." You know, at this point I only had 2 drinks. Still very sober. You know, I have a high tolerance. You know, people that ran the club asked me, try to convince me to stick around longer. You know, they like my presence. A lot of people do. But I wasn't feeling it. And so I opted to leave. Made sure nobody was following me. My car was only 75 feet away from the door. I thought I'd be safe. I am less than 25 feet away from the door at this point, which was obscured by an outdoor patio that had a screen so you can see what's going on inside. See, it was kind of fetish oriented, so as you imagine, I was wearing clothes that you wouldn't want to fight in. Okay. And shoes you wouldn't want to fight in. It's impossible. Much barely could walk in them, much less. I turn around, that man is there. He's following me. His eyes trained on me like a predator. He's giving me this fucking look, and he is walking like a big charging bull. I took a deep breath, tried to play it off, and started to walk a little faster. I'm now 50 feet to my car. I turn around. He's closing the distance. He's now 18 feet behind me, and still eyes locked on me. He's starting to walk faster. And that's when I realized all my alarm bells went off, and I said, oh, fuck no. He started to move a lot faster. He closed the distance. Now he's 12 feet behind me. I am less than 20 feet from my car, and he's at 12 feet. He's gaining on me. I cannot run in the shoes that I'm in. I cannot fight. I could not stand my ground. All my Aikido training, all my Akubujitsu, all my Warendo, Kung Fu, all that shit, none of that mattered at this point. My hand-to-hand training, I wasn't going to be able to withstand this man. He was very large, very muscular. Could have been a football player, probably was. He was charging at me. When he got within 7 feet of me, he pulled out a white rag, and I could see it was wet. That white rag, likely chloroform. And I recognized that I'd been led into a trap. There was a blind alleyway right there, right by my car. My only way I got out of this is I ran into oncoming traffic. I was just lucky a bunch of cars were coming right at me, and I ran right in the street and ran right in front of him. And he panicked and made a beeline, got as far away from me as he could. He came within 4 feet of me with every intent to drag me in that alley. I was freaked out. I got in the car, locked it as fast as I could, popped the thing in ignition, and hauled ass out of there. I may have survived that night. But what happened was my confidence was shattered. My sense of security was shattered. My sense of safety was shattered. I'm still nervous to be in dark places at night, particularly if I'm by myself. I always have to arrange ahead of time when I go to clubs for someone to come outside and hand escort me in, because even when I go to my local Trader Joe's, if I'm forced to use the underground parking, I have to go where all the lights are, as close to the door as I can, because some nights I still see them staring at me, coming for me, hiding in the shadows. That's the trauma. It's put a sense of fear in me. A few days later, I ran into a friend of mine, and she was normally the happiest girl I knew at the time. Very happy girl. We always used to call her Miss Sunshine. And she was in tears. I told her this, and this was at her job. I asked her what was going on, because she was wondering why I seemed so sad, and I told her what happened to me. And then she told me she was being sexually harassed at her work to the point where she wants to quit, flee, because the threats are starting to follow her home. When I told her what happened to me, she wrapped her arms around me and hugged me really tight, and said the most validating thing I never wanted to hear in my life. She said, "I am so sorry. You've officially joined the part of the women's club nobody wants to be a member of." And since that time, I've had several other women tell me the same thing. So you fucking TERFs out there, you don't get to say, you don't get to fucking invalidate us and say we're just men. We are not men. Not like them. Perhaps not even like you. We never have been. We may have tried for a while to fit into your world, but it didn't work out for us. We weren't happy. Unfortunately, what happened to me happens to a lot of trans girls. And sad. I've had a woman or two in the last 30 years get nasty with me. But one of them I was dating, actually. Very violent Cuban girl. Men, all this shit is because of men. This whole campaign against trans women is because of men. This whole Heritage Foundation thing, because of men. This whole fucking thing that Trump is trying to pull, because of fucking men. You fucking men. It's all fucking you. You know? You just have to control. You have to have your way. You can't take no for an answer. If this man was a gentleman, he would have accepted my no, my happy, like, I'm sorry, not interested look, and would have left me alone. No, he chased after me with a fucking chloroform rag. Quite possibly, he would have killed me. Who knows what happened? I would like not to think about it, because it puts me in that place. Now, LGBTQ centers do offer therapy and stuff, but the waiting list is so long. It's 1 year later. I still do not have adequate therapy. I've still not been able to receive the help I needed from this experience. I am still suffering from this trauma. And now and then, someone reminds me of it. But every time you fucking bitches go out there and say, trans women are a threat. We're not a threat. You are safer with any one of us than any member of the Trump regime. I mean, are you seriously going to take the word of an adjudicated rapist and convicted felon? That we're the rapists? Seriously. Chances are, if you talk to one of us, chances are we're a victim of this shit. And we're not over it. None of us will ever be. Ask any woman who really has been raped. They'll tell you. And our experiences are not too different. In fact, some of them are eerily similar. And it's insulting and hurtful when you make this accusation. You're saying you're trying to protect women. You're not trying to protect women. You're trying to control them. We know what a fake J.K. Rowling is. And I'm sorry. The Nancy Maces of the world, and she's been caught on camera so many times exaggerating shit. She clearly has never undergone this feminine experience that I hope she never experiences, honestly, as much as I despise her. Because then she would know. She would know better. You never re-victimize the victim. If you're watching this and you didn't know very much about how we feel about it or what those statistics are or what our experiences are like, hopefully you learned something. Perhaps we'll be a little more sensitive. I'm not expecting much. But don't ever call us the rapists. We're the last. If anything else, we'd be the first to defend you. Because no woman deserves what we've gone through. I mean, no, there's no brochure that says, hey, you too can be a girl. And if there was, they sure as hell wouldn't put that on the brochure now, would they? Or the sales pitch. Doubt it. This is an experience that women go through. 29% of you will go through this. I have a friend, she revealed to me that this has happened to her 5 times. And she too said, I'm so sorry. You know, now you know. Now you know our pain. And I'm sorry, you had to learn. You had to find out the hard way. You see, again, forgive me if I'm at a loss for words because this is very personal. I'm probably gonna have a hard cry after this. You know, I was driving the other day and Amy Mann's Voices Carry came on. I've heard this song about a dozen times, even sang along to it a couple times since that last attack. Never bothered me, but for some reason when she said that line, he wants me, but only if he can keep me in line. And that seems to be what this is about, keeping us in line. And for some men, the idea that because we may project an image that maybe some women don't, or we recreate an image. Just in my case, I tend to do a lot of 1960s kind of looks. Some men crave. Can't fault them for that. But when those cravings turn to dangerous behavior, violence, and rape, like I said, I narrowly escaped this guy. But the fact is, I've been raped before, publicly. In fact, in between that time, particularly, no, I won't get into that. It's too personal, sorry. But you hear somebody use that argument, oh, they're trying to protect women from men. We don't look like men. We're not built like men. We don't function like men. We never considered ourselves men. And as much as we tried, we realized it was impossible. It wasn't going to happen for us. The fact is, we were never happy, even trying. It was probably about a survival. Had it not been for this experience or these jackasses in Washington right now, I'd be having the time of my life. Trust me, I've never been happier. But I have this hanging over my head. And every time I hear this protecting women shit, you're not protecting anybody. So far, numerous cisgender women who didn't fit the bill of what some people consider what a woman's supposed to look like have been assaulted, berated, even arrested because of these stupid bathroom bills. I love going to New Orleans, but I can't now because I could be arrested just for taking a piss at the airport in Houston because there's always a 4-hour delay. Sad. It really is. I have to take my safety. I have to take it very seriously now because these fucking men, these men who tell these women what to do, what to say, they make them sound legit almost to the point that entire legislatures, well, largely Republican majorities, they repeat the lies. They keep telling the same thing over and over again. We're a danger to little girls. Well, I kind of make it a point when I see a little girl going to the bathroom, I will wait until they're out. Because all it takes is the wrong person to say the wrong fucking thing. It's just like when I pick up my kids from school. I make sure that we got enough distance, we got enough time, and only people who are used to me know I'm here to pick up my kid. That's all there is. We're just living our lives. Sorry, I have to keep making little pauses because I have neighbors walking in and out of here. But seriously, if you don't know about our struggles, don't talk about them. If you don't know the facts, don't repeat lies, especially from known pedophiles, known adjudicative rapists, known felons. You're gonna listen to them? Seriously? You know how I realize how stupid that makes you look? Seriously. Don't listen to priests. What they fucking know. There's plenty of information out there. They haven't erased everything. But more importantly, ask one of us. You know? A lot of us are more than happy to provide you information. Or contact the LGBT Center and saying you're just curious, you'd like to know and have information. That's doable. But don't repeat the lies. It makes you look stupid. Not only that, but it's very hurtful. And maybe you're one of those flawed human beings that enjoys hurting people. We don't mean to hurt anyone. Well, you gotta use the bathroom. We gotta use the bathroom like anybody else. We clearly can't. I mean, we're not there to make a spectacle. We're not there to anything else but to do what we have to do and leave. That's it. You know? A long time ago when I worked at Warner Brothers, I used to tell, when I worked with drag queens in particular, I would always tell them, just remember, behave yourself, be respectful, and think of it as we're guests here. And that's a privilege. And that privilege can be revoked. And now we're seeing people never had any contact with us, never really learned anything about us. They're out there trying to not only revoke that privilege, but make it a crime. And that's fucking evil. And it's sad and pathetic. Don't be like that. Like I said, the information's out there. Again, you can always ask one of us too. That's always available too. But don't listen to people who don't know. Don't repeat lies. Especially the one that we're the predators. We're not the predators. More often than not, we're the victims. And I don't like being a victim. But worse, I don't like being slandered by certain women that have massive inferiority complexes and clearly are either jealous of us or just hateful, flawed individuals that can't measure up to us. Maybe we represent, of course, this piece of womanhood that they have failed in. Who knows? It doesn't matter to us. We don't care. We're not interested. Get over yourselves. And for the rest of you, just enough with the lies. Again, it's very hurtful. The only thing, probably the most hateful, hurtful thing you could say to us, really, is to accuse us of the very thing we've been victimized by. Because we are not there to victimize anyone. We just want to live our lives. I love being feminine. I love all the privileges it's given me. So many people are so nice to me. And I've never known kindness in my entire life. True kindness. Until now. But at the same time, I'm also encountering this disrespect and to agree, occasional distant hate, mostly directed at my other trans sisters, not so much directed at me, but it's uncalled for. And I don't care what your opinions are, but just understand, sexual assault is no joke. And it's not something to exaggerate, and it's not something to say, point fingers at. Both my attackers were men. Don't know much about the last one, but the one who did rape me, he's now a Disney executive. I heard he did this to other people. Arrest record? None. Outstanding member of the community. I'm not gonna name him. I don't want that mother anywhere near me. Not even 1,000 feet. Unless I'm looking at him through crosshairs. That's how I feel about it. And probably always will. And if you're a trans person who have maybe shared this experience, I'm so sorry this has happened to you. And if you're a cisgender woman who's also been sexually assaulted, I hope now you understand our perspective. And I'm sorry this happened to you as well. Again, this is part of the women's club none of us wanted to be a member of. I'd give you all a hug if I could. And if you see me and you want to share a hug and a cry, I'm sure I would be happy to share one with you. Again, nobody deserves this. So, for you out there, will keep perpetuating this so-called myth of protecting women, stop it. You're protecting no one. You're just inflating your own ego, trying to make yourself important. That's all I have to say for now on this matter. I hope those of you, particularly if you're cisgender or another trans person coming up, that this does not happen to you, because again, it's something I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. I'm not dead serious about it. There's so many women out there who are still screaming inside, just like there are many trans. We're all hurting inside. You may not know it. Certain words, certain events, certain places, certain things will remind us of those horrifying moments of terror. That feeling of being violated. And I hope you never experience it. This has been Ava Death Dolly. Please be good to each other. And I'm dead serious when I say it.